Whales should not be underestimated. They are smart enough to take revenge on their enemies. Usually, a humpback whale does not show much sympathy towards pinnipeds. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend, is that not right? This killer whale underestimated the humpback whale's hatred. Perhaps when he was young and small, he was attacked by killer whales, for example. Maybe he's avenging someone else. But whatever his motives are, the main thing here is the result. The humpback whale saves the seal from an attack by a killer whale, and at the last moment, the seal comes to the rescue. The killer whale is in shock. Apparently, this whale decided that he was Batman and would protect the inhabitants of the sea from killer whales forever, no matter who they attacked. Or maybe the whale just wants his enemy to stay hungry. In any case, the seal gets really lucky. But sperm whales especially hate killer whales. If humpback whales and blue whales catch krill, so instead of toothy jaws, they have a whalebone filtering water. Then the sperm whale hunts fish, so it has powerful jaws with a bunch of sharp teeth. Sperm whales do not unite in such large groups as killer whales, so they are often persecuted during their youth. But if the sperm whale survives the attack of killer whales, survives and grows up to its maximum size, then it will already start hunting old enemies. The weight of a sperm whale reaches about 40 tons. That is 10 times the mass of killer whales. The vendetta of these animals looks impressive and frightening at the same time. Killer whales didn't even know what kind of enemy they got in the face of a huge and impetuous sperm whale. Dimensions are not the only weapon of marine animals. Many poisonous creatures live under the water. For example, the most venomous snake on the planet is not a cobra or a black mamba at all. The Belcher's sea snake is superior to both of them combined. The venom of this reptile is so strong that its amount from one bite would be enough to stop the heart of several hundred horses. That is, the threat to a person will be the amount of poison that can fit on a needle. The venom of the Belcher snake is practically a weapon of mass destruction, to be honest. Fortunately, this snake is not a bloodthirsty maniac at all. It doesn't differ in aggression and will not bite a person except in cases of self-defense. Pretty lucky, isn't it? The Belcher snake is a marine inhabitant. Although it has no gills and breathes air, the reptile spends most of its time underwater. To swim fast, her tail becomes flat like the fin of a fish. Thanks to this feature, the Belcher snake can catch up with any fish of suitable size. This moray eel didn't know who was in front of her. Attacking Belcher snake was a big mistake. The moray eel is a dangerous, lightning-fast, and very strong fish, but one snake bite is enough for this to be its last hunt. Its diet is the reason why a meek and small snake needs such a powerful poison. The fact is that the circulatory system of fish is arranged in a fundamentally different way than a similar system of warm-blooded animals. For example, rodents, which are hunted by land snakes. Because of this difference, fish are almost insensitive to the usual toxins of snakes. So the most ordinary fish from your aquarium would probably not be impressed by the bite of a king cobra, for example. But immunity, of course, is not absolute. When the ancestors of the Belcher snake in the process of development switched to an aquatic lifestyle, instead of restructuring the toxin to hunt specifically for fish, the snake simply increased its venom 100 times. As a result, it gets an excellent weapon, suitable for hunting fish, and for self-defense from any large predator as well. The polar bear is the largest land carnivorous animal on the modern planet. According to some reports, the mass of this giant can reach half a ton. When a polar bear stands on its hind legs to attack, it towers over its prey by almost 10 feet, 3 meters, which is not only incredibly frightening, but also gives the predator a tactical advantage. And although the polar bear belongs to land animals, its life is directly connected with the sea. The Arctic area is just a huge and mostly frozen Arctic Ocean. So for most of his life, a polar bear either swims in the water or walks over the frozen sea. And the main task of this predator is to find better prey. See how this huge polar bear hunts huge sea lions? These pinnipeds weigh much more than 4 tons, that is, they surpass rhinos and hippos. Coping with such a giant is incredibly difficult. Thanks to the ability to stay on its hind legs for a long time, the polar bear is able to deliver the strongest series of blows. Even one well-aimed blow with the paw of such a giant could break the neck of a horse. If you add long claws to pure physical power, then the effect of several lightning strikes becomes honestly really destructive. To powerful blows with paws, work with its jaws is added. The bite of a polar bear is cooler than the death grip of any trap. When a polar bear finds a group of sea lions together, this is honestly just like a supermarket for him. He chooses a more sophisticated prey and swiftly attacks it before the victim has time to disappear into the water. And it is difficult to bite through or break through a very thick, fatty layer of prey and get to its vulnerable parts. But all efforts pay off for him, because such an amount of meat will be enough for a bear to last on for about several days. Usually a polar bear catches sea lions on ice floes. To catch up with them in the water, even with an excellent ability to swim, the bear really can't do this. But on ice floes, he has the advantage in a bear, and a bear, even with its monstrous dimensions, can be incredibly secretive. So just look at this ninja. He manages to sneak up on a seal with almost no cover, and this is with his weight. This is a real feat. Bears can also catch seals and sea lions directly from the holes and grab them with their curved claws. Unfortunately, due to global warming, the natural habitat of polar bears has greatly decreased. The ice retreated from the rocks and shores of the Arctic Ocean. And on it itself, the thickness of the ice is often not large enough to withstand the weight of a huge predator. He can't hunt among the rocks because the light color of the fur coat immediately gives him away. And a hungry polar bear becomes much more aggressive, including against its own kind. Just watch this intense and epic scene play out. The male decides to deal with a bear cub, and the female is inferior in size to the aggressor by about a quarter. But she is fiercely protective of her offspring. Just look at how the bear tries to win every extra second for her little baby and help him break away from the terrible pursuer. The female drops an entire snowdrift on her pursuer's head. Very clever tactics. The aggressor clearly underestimated her, hoping that brute force would give him an unambiguous advantage. But the most impressive is the duel of two males. Here, a larger predator clearly underestimated the courage of a young bear when it came to seize his hunting grounds. The animals tried to intimidate each other with a terrible roar, from which the local reindeer had already fled somewhere towards Mexico. And when both predators realized that a fight could not be avoided, they immediately began to exchange blows. This is an incredible battle in which predators use their arsenal up to 100%. They not only exchange crushing blows, aim at each other's head, body, and neck, but also brutally grab the enemy with their fangs, trying to overwhelm them. Both rise up to their hind legs, but they can also fight in the stalls, fight and try to reach the throat of the opponent. Although many large aquatic predators hunt seals and sea lions, do not underestimate them. These animals are also excellent at scary hunters in their weight category. They are incredibly agile, so much so that they can catch both large fish and penguins. The seals and sea lions are able to catch up and catch a penguin with its terrible fangs even in the open ocean. This chase on the shore looks even more intense. The penguin is doing everything to break away from the sea lion, and it seems that the enemy is not agile enough. He clumsily flippers around and tries to catch up with the bird. But if you bet on the penguin, you'd be wrong. The larger predator just looks awkward. He catches up with the victim, crushes it with his mass, and uses his jaws.